If you watched my channel for a little while, you might notice I made a video on a guy called Purplers when he was saying that wood is going to be made useless because bamboo wood is being added. And yes, that was the actual argument. And I got some incredibly funny comments on that video, trying to deflect criticism by saying that the guy is a Redstone channel. Yes, you heard it here. Because I didn't explicitly state that he was a Redstone channel, it makes all my arguments completely invalid and it makes him immune to criticism because these people said so. Unfortunately, I didn't get enough comments for an angry comments video, but alas. And as it turns out, a while ago I got another similar type of video recommended to me, which I didn't watch at the time due to assuming it would be just as bad as the first video. But recently it got recommended to me again, so I decided to give the video a shot out of curiosity, and as it turns out, it was far worse than I could have possibly imagined. The title of this video is Mojang doesn't understand Redstone and comes from CraftyMasterman, and here is one thing that pisses me off about this video. He took what was supposed to be the easiest W imaginable by shitting on Mojang, yet somehow, some way, out of everything he could have criticized, he decided to hyper-focus on a complete non-issue. Definitely gives off Bring Halo Back energy, back when he was bitching about Halo 3 releasing early on PC. So yes, as much as it pains me to do, this video will force me to defend fucking Mojang. Pray for me, guys.
Mojang has a problem with Redstone, and it begins with this, the world's smallest combination lock.
Oh great, we're starting with an anecdote. Let me guess, it's bad because it's too small. Well, let's find out.
I was trying to break this world record live on stream, and just after 50 minutes, me, Sacred, and Purple had made a smaller design that worked. Except for one small problem. We needed a block with a combination of some very specific properties that didn't exist. Oh, wait, but that's transparent.
But it's not solid.
Dude, if we had a solid container that could redirect redstone, that'd be huge. So, we abandoned that design and toyed around with other ideas for another 3 hours.
So Minecraft is bad because it doesn't have a solid container that redirects redstone. Do I seriously have to explain how downright retarded that sounds? And yes, I am aware I'm probably gonna get some retard in the comments trying to call me out because they're redstone channels, but could you imagine if every single person said the same thing about the thing they need the most? Why should Mojang pander to everyone's needs specifically on a personal fucking level? Because that is basically the argument being made here. But in this case, it's even more retarded because a combination lock and most redstone builds in general are luxury builds. You never need to touch a single piece of redstone to thrive in Minecraft. It is optional content. A combination lock doesn't help you in any way a regular door wouldn't, it just looks cool. And the same goes for most redstone builds with some exceptions like farms for instance. Now I'm not saying it's a bad suggestion, what I'm trying to get at is that this guy is completely overreacting. He hit one singular roadblock in trying to break a world record. A single fucking roadblock, and felt the need to upload this video. Let that sink in for a moment. Could you imagine back when I broke the D Machina no power and no perk world record shortly after the game released, that as I was attempting it, I made a video bitching and moaning because Treyarch didn't make Pack-a-Punch accessible without power? I would have gotten completely shat on. But I didn't because I understand the concept of world records. But just you wait guys, because this shit is going to take a sharp turn in a few seconds.
Till suddenly one of my channel members made one simple suggestion, use jukeboxes. Now you may be wondering, why jukeboxes? What's so special about them? Well, in 1.19.4, Mojang added extra functionality to make them more similar to how they work in Bedrock Edition. And it turned out that was exactly what we needed at the start of the stream.
That would be exactly what we need, but it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Doesn't exist.
So yeah, that means Purple lied to me.
So you got exactly what you wanted in the end, down to a T. So where is the fucking problem?
What is the problem?
How dare you, you liar.
So our problem was solved by Mojang improving an old block.
Oh great, now he's bringing in fucking purplers. You already know this shit is gonna derail fast. I mean, it already has. Now he's bitching that Mojang improved their design by modifying an old block. But in the video I responded to previously, he was bitching that Mojang improved his wood farms by adding a new block, bamboo wood. So as it turns out, Mojang is not allowed to improve their designs by modifying old blocks, and is not allowed to improve their designs by adding new blocks. Like, there is no winning with these fuckers. Literally the perfect example of selective outrage.
not adding a new one. In fact, none of the newest redstone stuff has been very useful at all. Chiseled bookshelves are nice, but they're nothing to write home about. And skulk sensors would have been amazing if they weren't so clunky. This has been a recurring theme over the years.
You gotta love how much he's downplaying skulk sensors here. It's literally an easy to understand entry-level component which is a wireless trigger. I feel like that's a pretty big deal, especially on PvP servers, and especially when you consider how much finesse wireless triggers needed in the past to even work half decently. And that is a pretty big deal, especially for people who don't understand a lot of redstone, which, spoiler alert, is the overwhelming majority.
The last genuinely useful block we got was the target block. Now, I want you to guess why. What is the target block used for? Is it A, a target, B, a target, C, a target, or D, a target? Well, if you guessed any of these, you're wrong! Target blocks are mostly used to make redstone point into them. That's it.
Wow, you mean to tell me that a block emitting redstone signals can be connected with redstone? How dare Mojang add this feature? They should be ashamed of themselves. Seriously, I can't believe this shit is an actual criticism. Congratulations, you found a different use for the target block. But that doesn't mean it still cannot be shot to emit a signal as it's supposed to. This is such a fucking nitpick.
It's very useful for redstoners, but it's very detached from their main purpose of detecting when you shoot them.
Literally fucking how? Can you not still shoot them? I'm just wondering, if they called it, I don't know, redstone conductor or some shit, and gave it a different texture, would that make it better? This is seriously the argument of, it's bad because of the texture.
It works the other way too. Sometimes Mojang makes random changes to components that almost ruin them. In the 1.19 snapshot, they changed note blocks so you could only mute them using wool. This was to make it consistent with the skulk sensor's wool occlusion feature. But many redstoners were outraged because their previously silent redstone was now extremely noisy.
As if you needed any more proof that these types of videos are so fucking pathetic. These fuckers were literally saying, fuck consistency because I don't want to adapt. Wow, placing a carpet on top of a note block is really hard, guys. Holy hell. Could you be any more of a fucking crybaby? I hope you now understand why I find these types of videos to be completely pathetic. Like, I understand criticizing genuine problems, but over here we got grown men on the internet bitching and moaning over literally nothing.
So Mojang heard all that and pressed the undo button. A lesser known example is when they tried making pistons solid blocks. This meant that all existing flying machines were now giant lag machines because as they move, they'd be constantly spamming light updates below them. Oh, and it also broke basically every piston door ever. And although these changes never made it into a full release, unfortunately some of them did. You guys remember piston translocation, that really cool bug where you could teleport through pistons? No? Well, that's because it doesn't exist now. Before that, we had the Jeb extender. Well, not anymore. That's also gone because they hate it.
Okay, there are some things here I do agree with him on. The piston bug was pretty cool, and making pistons solid, although makes sense, comes with too many issues.
This is not to say Mojang has never created a good redstone feature. In fact, there's been several updates that brought some really nice redstone additions, like the slime block, the observer, and more recently, bubble columns and honey blocks. But there's one key difference between these features and new blocks like the skulk sensor: the players. Nearly all the features we just mentioned had huge contributions made by the player base. Back when slime blocks were first introduced, they never had the ability to stick to other blocks. That feature was inspired by a troll video from a YouTuber named CodeCrafted. Honey blocks were originally no different to slime, until the players convinced Mojang to include the sliding mechanic it's used for today.
And you just proved how with feedback, these features have been improved to the point where they are all incredibly useful. So in the end, once again, you got exactly what you wanted. So where is the problem?
What is the problem?
Bubble columns were added shortly after Mojang patched a bug that allowed players to use glass as an item elevator.
Also known as the test elevator.
Purple. No one cares! They served as an official replacement that didn't rely on bugs and was, in the end, better.
And that just goes to show that your entire video is completely pointless. Mojang took that feedback into consideration and that ended up making a better feature that doesn't rely on exploiting the game. Where is the fucking problem? Now I'm really starting to believe the only reason you're bitching is because you haven't gotten your world record. Or who knows, maybe you have since you clearly found a solution to your problem. In which case, this video is even more pathetic.
because it could transport more than just items. It could also transport players and mobs.
The Observer started out as a way of having block update detectors in Bedrock Edition, even though they technically didn't work the same. And then when it was brought over to Java Edition, it was very overpowered, quickly surpassing every other Redstone component because of its versatility.
Ironically, the best Redstone features came either as a replacement or by accident.
I am seriously going to lose my fucking shit with this video. So if you got exactly what you wanted in the end with the combination of Mojang implementing new features and player feedback, where is the problem, you mouth-breathing Neanderthal? Literally just looking for a reason to bitch. Mojang could find a cure for cancer and these retards would be sitting here saying, well, you didn't do it this way, therefore it sucks. If you got exactly what you wanted in the end, why is the method in which you got it even an issue? I can't even imagine being this fucking pathetic.
Much like Crafty's subscribers.
Hey, what the frick?
And just like Crafty, the best things to ever happen to Redstone were small changes. Remember how Mojang almost ruined the note block?
These fuckers genuinely believe being able to silence note blocks with wool for consistency would completely ruin it. Let that sink in. A block that is supposed to make sounds would be ruined by having a consistent and easier to understand method for silencing it. Yeah.
Well, they also accidentally made it one of the most useful Redstone components ever. In 1.13, the note blocks got some new instruments, and while they were working on this, they made it so observers could detect when the instruments changed. But as a side effect, when you powered a note block, it would trigger observers and update pistons.
But purple, why is that useful?
Okay, no, wait. Well, purple inside my head, almost everything else that could trigger observers was noisy, and it gave us a way to QC power pistons in a 1x1 space. Note blocks quickly became a staple of modern Redstone, along with observers, making contraptions a lot smaller.
At this point, they should have just named this video Minecraft sucks because I want a world record on a silver platter. Because that is basically what this comes down to. They are listing all these incredibly useful features added to many new and old blocks and items, and using this as proof to show how Mojang somehow doesn't understand what they want, even though that is the entire reason player feedback exists in the first place.
And that brings us back to the jukebox. After 1.19.4, we'll probably see them being used a lot more.
Because just like the Observer, they become a one-block solution to basically everything by combining every useful Redstone component into one. It is literally a Redstone block that you can turn on and off and control with 15 possible durations. Playing a disc inside a jukebox can power Redstone around it for the length of the disc. Not only can you control time though, you can also control
Space.
No, you can't.
well, Thanks for ruining my dreams, Purple. I hate you now. As of right now, there are 15 different music discs, meaning that each one has a unique signal strength that can be read by a comparator. Being a container also means that you get all the benefits of interacting with hoppers and droppers, pleasing all those
Storage thick is my passion.
And it's a solid block that redirects redstone, so it's basically a target block. But it's also immovable, so now we have options for both scenarios. So if you ever need a redstone block, barrel, obsidian, target, hopper, timer all in one, then the jukebox is just for you.
And this is bad because... oh wait, I forgot, because he said so.
It's these kinds of niche properties that Redstoners want from new blocks.
And you got exactly that, and kept getting exactly that for years at this point. So for the 10 millionth time, where is the problem?
What is the problem?
So when we get stuck on a specific Redstone problem, we have more ways to solve it. But most of the time, Mojang only gives us these properties when they change an existing block. And there's something kind of wrong there.
I love how we're now conveniently ignoring honey, slime, targets, observers, and you could probably list a shit ton more. That aside, once again, why is it bad they are changing old blocks to make them useful for redstone contraptions? Okay, let's be real. We're watching a Redstone Commentary video. If you're expecting a logical answer to that, you're playing yourself. Thankfully, we're almost done with this complete horseshit.
It shouldn't be that Redstoners are more excited about a quality of life change than a shiny brand new thing.
Again, selective memory, you love to fucking see it. Also, they are genuinely arguing that Mojang should just blow up the game with 10,000 new components that fill every single niche, instead of changing existing blocks to fill that purpose. And this is especially considering these changes don't impact the block's main use negatively whatsoever. Jukeboxes will still play discs normally. There are no drawbacks to this approach. So this once again comes down to entitlement. Because this block isn't specifically made for Redstone and Redstone alone, it is bad. Honestly, just fuck right off.
Or to put it simply, quality of life changes fix old problems, new blocks create new problems.
What problems does the skulk sensor create? Oh wait, it doesn't, he's just talking out of his ass. And even if, by some miracle it does, you can choose not to fucking use it. Once again, all of redstone is optional content. You can make contraptions with just redstone wire if you so choose. So for the final fucking time, where is the problem?
What is the problem?
It may be a while before we get another Redstone update that gets players hyped, but why don't we look at a Redstone update that did just that? But you should subscribe to mine anyways because I'm CraftyMasterman and I need to have more subs than him, but he has more subs than me, so we need to get more subs than him, so subscribe, okay?
And with that, we're finally done with this complete abortion of a video. So I guess the moral of the story here is, Minecraft is bad because Mojang listened to my feedback. Yeah. I never thought we'd be living in a world where developers listening to feedback is a bad thing, but here we are. Oh, if only Mojang were to do that with a lot of the other aspects of the game. But by some grace of the pagan gods, these guys managed to hyper-focus on the one aspect, the one fucking aspect that is the least problematic, if at all. Now, I'm not saying these people can't make good content when they make actual redstone contraptions because shit, even I enjoy watching redstone building videos once in a blue moon. But it's specifically in these kinds of videos, when they try to act like Under The Mayo of Minecraft, that they really drop the ball hardcore, and it's honestly baffling that people actually take them seriously. But then again, they have the typical obnoxious editing that attracts fetuses, so I guess we know why. Be sure to like and subscribe to boost me in the algorithm. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.